Hello everyone, welcome to this video. The Flying Scotsman here, and in this video I would like to show you a Packard Bell. Not a mid-90s one or anything like that, but actually one from 10 years later. 10 years after things like the Packard Bell Legend 402 CD or 406 CD or 822 were the end thing. We were getting machines like this. Now, this is quite an interesting machine, and I've been given it to repair. Now, I've managed to take all the files off of it, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to reinstall Windows and see if I can get it going again. Unfortunately, there is no partition on the hard drive to let me quick restore it. So that's quite a shame. I'm going to have to do it manually. So I'm not going to be able to actually show you any quick restore software here. But I thought I'd show you the machine anyway. So this machine is spec'd out with one optical drive, a DVD RW drive. Says R9. And on the front we have a power button, which is, yeah, it's a wee bit sunken in at one end. You've got to press it at the top. It's I think it's came off of its mountings, or some of the plastic has maybe snapped, which is quite common with these systems with the large plastic power buttons. I really don't know why they thought to do that. You know, when a small round power button would suffice, surely. Case badges suggest that this computer has an ATI graphics card. It's got a Pentium 4 Prescott, at least I believe it's a Prescott, I know it's a 775, 3.2 gigahertz, and it runs Windows XP. And it actually runs XP Media Center Edition. Now it's got these things as well that light up. Now it kind of feels like, this kind of feels like it's a membrane panel. And this was the sort of thing that you saw quite a lot on computers of the 2000s. You know, manufacturers trying to innovate. And, you know, they do all kinds of things with their machines in order to do that. Now this all lights up blue. And surely it can't just be an advert for what this machine can do. It kind of feels like a membrane panel, so I reckon that these are kind of quick launch buttons for certain things. Why they've put it on the case, I don't know, where it can get kicked and all sorts. Because a lot of people put their computer towers on the floor. So, yeah. We also have a slide down panel here, so if you thought the machine did look a bit plain Jane, then lowering this panel reveals all kinds of nonsense. So what we have here is a multifunction card reader, a couple of USB ports, headphone and microphone, infrared window. I'm guessing that's for a remote control, because this machine is, well, it came pre-bundled with Windows XP Media Center Edition 2005, at least according to the COA on the side. Looks like we've got S-Video, Composite, and something else that I don't know what it is. Kind of looks like a line in or something. Anyway, let's take a look around the back. See, molded Packard Bell. So around the back, got the model. This is a Packard Bell iXtreme MC hammer. No, it's not. It's a Packard Bell iXtreme Gold MC 1807. And inputs and outputs, we have PS2 keyboard and mouse ports, RS-232 serial, IEEE 1284 parallel printer port, D-sub, onboard graphics, and I do wonder what onboard graphics these are. It's kind of nice that it's kind of nice from a a repair engineer's point of view that these onboard graphics are still here in case the graphics card were to go mang, and you could just kind of boot up from the onboard graphics if needed. But I'm not sure if they're actually connected to anything or even work. You've got 4 USB 2 ports, Ethernet, don't know if it's gigabit or not, microphone in, line out for speakers, headphones, that sort of thing, and line in. Then you've got the graphics card. Now I might have said that this extra VGA port was good for a system repairer's point of view, but not necessarily for an end user's point of view. Packard Bell have always prided themselves on being the kind of, cheap, easy to use, kind of out of the box experience. Bring your machine home, plug it in, very simple. You're ready to use your new computer. That sort of thing could confuse someone. But this is what I'm assuming is an ATI graphics card. Blank slot, should have probably put a slot blank in. I don't plan to open this case if I can help it anytime soon, because it was a bugger to try and get the side panel on, because partly to do with some of the case metal's a wee bit bent, and partly to do with the fact that the machine has a heatsink with a spring-loaded kind of funnel on it. You've got a wireless card which has no antennas at all, which is quite nice. Then you have a TV tuner card, which looks like it has a pass-through to plug your TV into or something. I don't know what that is, but yep. And it has S-Video as well. Interestingly enough, though, the graphics card only seems to have composite. Doesn't even have DVI. So either the graphics card has been replaced with a much cheaper model somewhere along the line, or they've cheaped out. But there you go. I mean, this is the iXtreme. So what I'm going to do is, and then we can take a quick look at the other side as well. And there's the funnily heat-sinky thing, the wee window to jettison the hot air out of. This machine does run very hot, as a lot of things in the mid-2000s did. Anyway, enough yammering on. Let's get it plugged in. So now we're wired up and ready to switch on, so let's do that. And then what I'm going to do now is hit the F8 button and boot from the DVD drive. I hope that works, by the way. It's making some rather odd noises. Oh, this is not good. Okay, so the optical drive inside this machine does not work. But fear not, because I has an external one. Now this, what does boot from external USB drives at least. I know this because I booted from an easy to boot flash drive yesterday to get the files off of it. The original Windows XP install is just completely toasted. Now there's the external Blu-ray drive spinning up. And as you can see there, it's actually made itself known to the computer's BIOS as a boot device. And there we go, I'm awake to boot from it. Now, one thing I will say about this particular machine, there's a lot of machines that are very, very, very slow on USB boot. But this one is really quite quick, especially with Linux. It was very quick to get booted up and what have you. So I really was quite pleased with that. Anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to install Windows Media Center, and I'll be back with you once we hit the desktop. So here I am at the desktop of the system. I've activated Windows, I've installed .NET Framework and the Media Center update rollup 2 update. Now, the next thing I want to do is get some drivers installed. Now, we're connected to the network, and Windows reckons it's picked up some drivers. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a shortcut to the installed folder on my server. And I'm doing it via IP address because, well, a lot of you will know that my server is called MILF. And, you know, on someone else's computer, not sure that they'd want to see the word MILF come up in their browser history or Windows Explorer history. They'd be like, what the hell is being browsed on this machine? Anyway, I was able to get the drivers for this machine from Packard Bell's FTP website, so props to them for having that website still up. I even have a desktop wallpaper. Not sure if it's the right one for this particular machine, but I guess we could just try it. Set as desktop background. Excellent. And though this theme is not me, it's certainly oops, wrong one. Certainly seemed to be a Packard Bell staple of the mid-2000s, so there we go. Now this thing really looks and feels like a Packard Bell machine from the time period. I'm not entirely sure what speed this network card is, but again, sure I'll be able to find that out. Actually, it'll tell me down here. Well, or I could just go to status, and it seems to be connected at 100 megabits. Not too bad. Could be better. Okay, so now, well, I guess the next thing is try and find out which drivers are the ones that actually need installed. Now, there is a way that I can identify the hardware in XP. Again, it's actually up on my server. So if I go to installed, well, on my server, I actually have Snappy Driver install. So what I can do, just launch SDI Auto. And then what happens then is my server will, well, SDI will connect to the internet. Oops. So, as you can see, well, there's updates available, but can tell that this is Realtek AC97 audio, Asus Tech Tiger capture device, RangeMax Next wireless adapter, Realtek Ethernet NIC, SIS RAID controller. So, ew, it's this. I could just install the drivers from Snappy Driver Update. Snappy Driver install would be a sensible idea, but to be honest, I want to install, you know, the original drivers and software that you know, may have came with this machine. That way I know I've got, well, mostly the drivers that it came with. Obviously I'll probably update the drivers then, once I've got all the originals installed. I mean, this does sound a wee bit, yeah, it does kind of sound a wee bit of a strange way of doing things, but you know, there are rare cases that sometimes just downloading a driver straight off of the internet can cause a device to not work. You know, so you've got to be careful with that. Good case in point, my Asus transformer. If I update the video drivers, the touchscreen support goes away. Just it ceases to function as a touchscreen. So, you know, I mean, this is something to watch out for. Now this is quite interesting now, because what seems to have happened is the resolutions went up a wee bit. Yep, there we go. Radeon 9550. Nice. This just seems to have literally installed the driver. But that's perfectly fine by me. Hey, if it works, it works. So, I think what I will do is I will install the rest of the drivers and then come back to you once that's done. So now I've installed all the drivers that I actually can. Now, what I'm actually doing now is installing updates from the Snappy driver installer, and it really is quite snappy. What I've done actually is what I've actually done with this actually is I've actually stored it on my server along with all the driver packs. So you know, all I need to do is just update driver packs as I go. You know, any machine that needs driver access, as long as it can connect to my network. If it can't, there's a different problem. But as long as it can connect to my network, it can pick up this program, which can then be used to download and install device drivers, which is quite nice. At least I think so anyway. Well guys, this machine is now up and running. But the reason I'm all the way down here with the camera is I wanted to show you these buttons in action. Now, as far as I'm aware, they all actually lead to Media Center, which I've not actually bothered to set up. I think if the person who I'm repairing this machine for actually does want to make use of it, they can set it up themselves. It's very easy to set up, and you know, plug it into their own TV system, what have you. That said, I'm not sure that this has got a DVB tuner in it. I'm pretty sure it's just analog. And certainly in Aberdeen, analog TV was actually one of the first to be switched off. Was the northeast of Scotland. It's certainly Aberdeen. Can't even mind what the name of. I think it's the Belmont transmitter that's quite close to me. But anyway, the back to this machine. Not sure if it's got a digital tuner in it. If it doesn't, the only way you'll be able to really watch much through it is by plugging a Freeview box up to a VCR and connecting a VCR to the system or something like that, or even just connecting a digital box up to it using the front composite ports. But if I were to press one of these buttons, let's say the DVD one, it does take a while. In fact, it takes quite a long while. But eventually we will see some results. Look, there we go. Probably might take less time once Media Center's set up. So this is quite an interesting way of doing things. I wonder if at one time there will have been some software like Dell's Media Direct on here that you could have maybe, you know, that would be quite neat to actually see a computer like this You know, you could power it on using any of these buttons, and it would go into, you know, kind of a specific mode. You know, something like Dell Media Direct. You could use that to play your DVDs and what have you. Quite an interesting little feature, though. However, I do feel that it's more of a gimmick, really, because anyone actually using this machine as a media center would probably use a media center remote. And then again, you're not necessarily... You might not know that these are buttons. And even if you did, I've never really had much faith in these membrane panel buttons. Although some of them seem to be really quite sensitive. I mean, I could just kind of lightly brush it, and you know, and then next thing I know, media center's coming up. Anyway, enough fooling about with that. So, this is a desktop. What I've done is I've restored all the files. I'm not going to show you that because they're not my files to show, to be honest. But I've installed an older version of iTunes. I don't know if this machine is going to be used or if it's just going to be replaced. But certainly, you know, I got a machine to fix. I did say that I would do what I could to get it going. And I believe I have. So there's LibreOffice on here. There's the extended support release of Firefox 52, I believe, which is the last version to support both XP and Vista. VLC Media Player. K-Lite Codec Pack, which includes Media Player Classic. And Audacity. I've also uninstalled the unofficial service pack 4 as well, so that this machine will keep getting the will be updated until 2019 through the POS Ready update. But apart from that, there's not really much to this machine. I will say the fans do tend to ramp up a bit. Still, even though I've repasted the CPU, it is still a Prescott. It will still get awfully hot. Like for now, for example, I've just started up the web browser, and it's already wanting to ramp up the fans, you know, and it's kind of like, really? This processor is going to expel heat just by browsing the internet. Don't know if you can hear it on camera, but yep, it's going 10 to the dozen, and all I'm doing is reading the news. Come on, man, font it. Anyway, I think I will end this video here. So thank you all for watching. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it and would like to see more, please consider subscribing to the Flying Scotsman YouTube channel. If you're looking for more things The Flying Scotsman, you can also follow the Flying Scotsman YouTube channel Facebook page and follow me on Twitter. To see my latest video, click on the link within the browser window. In the meantime, thank you for watching, and please do feel free to join me for my next video. Cheery bye.